want that leg to come forward. So I'm going to step a little closer to this foot. I don't have to step on it. I'm going to step closer to that foot, and then I'm going to pull and start to circle. Pretty much guaranteeing he will step forward with the leg that I like. Same thing. If I'm here, if I can step closer to this one and then pull, I can pretty much guarantee he will step with the foot that I prefer. Because when he's put into those predicaments through there, the idea of making those power steps starts to go away. And then again, that's part of the issue that happens with a lot of drilling, is the other person gives a false reaction that's not really there, that once we introduce pressure and resistance, it changes. So like if I just went up and grabbed, if he just walks with me, like at that point in time, I can do any takedown to him I wanted to, you know, without even needing to try. So if I come in and I grab a hold of him and I start to pull, if I want that leg, I can just make that little step, and I can guarantee that one will become heavy, that one will become the light leg, and that's the one that will move. So now if I want to start manipulating, this already puts him at a disadvantage, and it puts me at the advantage. So that's what I just want to start off with, is through here. It's just make a connection. You can grab shoulders or elbows or the like. Okay, and I'm just going to go. I want that foot to step. So if that's the case, I need to get closer to this one, make it the center of the wheel, so that when I pivot, this one has the smallest distance and that one makes the biggest distance. Because if I just went like this and tried to make that big step, he'll just make his power step. But if I come in, get closer to this one, okay, again, if I make this one the center of the wheel, then that's the one that has to make the biggest motion. Okay? So whenever I want to move, get closer. Again, if you're drawing a circle, you know, coming through, okay, I'm going to make that one the center of the circle so that I can make this one the outside. So I'm going to step closer to make it into the middle so that when I step, I can guarantee that that's the foot now that has to make the adjustment. All right, let's just play with that for a little bit. First times I was ever introduced to single leg X was from a standing entry. Okay. And then later, started learning things like getting into single leg X and X guard from like mount and things of that nature. But still to this day, there's a lot of people when you go into competitions that are dropping, going immediately into it from standing, and like, you know, they're not comping a squat, they're not just sitting into their guard, they're actively going in. Okay, now I'm a bigger individual, and so there's this thing out there where they say if you want to learn really good jiu-jitsu, learn from a little guy. I say bullshit. Find a big guy that moves. Mm-hmm. He's had to overcome way more than a smaller individual ever has. When a person half my size is going with me, they're going at 100%, maybe even 110% all the time. Okay? Bigger individuals are always having to overcome a lot more. Flexibility, pressure positions, and the like. So when you can find a big guy that can do little guy moves, I guarantee you he's had to overcome more things than the little guy did to achieve the same thing. So for me, that's how I started studying. Okay, I had a lot of people that were a lot smaller than me. I'm not even a big guy. I mean, I'm like Sheedy. But I would learn to move, and then I would go like, man, I can't do that. Like I don't have that kind of flexibility to pummel my feet in and things of that nature. So then I would go find a bigger guy like a Dean Lister or Robert Drysdale or somebody of that nature, somebody that's of size that does the same move, and then look at like what alterations that they did to do it. So we're coming in. I'm going to play deliberately on this wrist because this is the direction that I want to go. Okay, so whether we're playing no gi or the like, I want this one through here. Again, we're going to play that little circle motion that's coming through. Even though right now that leg is the one that's in front, I still wanted to step. I still want to take him off of his base so that in that motion, it's less likely that he can react the way that he wants to because he's in motion. So if we're here, maybe I got to tie up and the like. I'm going to make that first step, come in, and I'm going to pull because I want that leg to come at me. Okay. Now through here, I'm going to start to squat, almost like I'm getting ready to do like a baseball slide between his legs, and I'm going to start to pull him to the other side. So as I sit and I start to come in, I'm going to drop. I'm going to put this leg inside. Remember with the capoeira pass, you were saying about like certain things that If you try to do it slow, it becomes super stupid. And when you speed it up, it becomes a lot easier. This is kind of one of them. So it's going to look stupid as I try to go slow. Okay, but I'm going to, as I slide in, I'm going to be pulling him to bring that other leg forward. So my goal, I just circled to bring that foot forward. Okay, now I'm going to drop, slide in on his legs, okay, in through here. And then I just made him make that big power step, still holding on to that arm, and my shin goes into the back of that leg. So if he wants to now try to close his gap, okay, that leg is at least going to hold the door open, and I've already got a hold. I can go for single X right now, okay, or the way it was first thought was going into full X guard directly from here, at least as the setup. I've already got this hand connected, and now I'm sitting in on his legs. Okay, so then if we've got X, the stuff we've been playing with now is I can come in, I can take him into the much bigger stance, we can drop to the bottom, okay, then I'm going to take him down, we come up, now I'm going into my pass, okay, or again as I'm coming in, boom, 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 I'm going to pull, make that leg come towards me. Now as I sit, this one's going to pull to basically make him come into that step. So we come in, there goes that foot, and we go in to here, or again, we can come in directly into our X. So we make that connection. His momentum is already going that way. So if I continue that hand, we can then sweep them either. So those are two of the positions we've been doing from X guard earlier this week that we can get into. Now we're just going in from a standing entrance into it. So again, if we're coming in, I'm going to bring it forward. That makes the step. And then as I sit, this one's going to pull to make him step over me in the process. So I'm going to sit. There's me connecting to his leg. This one's in. So now again, we can go here, go directly into our attack, or we can throw into traditional X. So if I was here, this one pushes out, we can go into our traditional X or reverse X, whichever one ultimately you like. But we're just going to try to get there from our standing position. But again, we're going to play with that little circle step. I bring him to me, then literally all I'm doing is just kind of kneeling, and as I fall, now I'm pulling. So that hand is bringing him, now he has to step, which is going to put him over this leg. And again, X on this side, full X guard, reverse X, whichever one you like. All right, let's give it a shot. 1, 2, 3.